cases, you need to enclose the variable name in curly brackets, or braces, as we sometimes call it. So that's just another example of variable replacement. Are there any other ways we can do variable replacement in the bash shell, or variable expansion in the bash shell? Have anyone come across any other ways? Expert programmers amongst us. Right, well I might leave that with you as an exercise over lunch, and we might ask that question as soon as we get back after lunch. So, any other ways of expanding variables? And there are two ways I can think of, and I'm sure other people can think of others as well. So let's just wrap up then with a quick bit of arithmetic. Let's say, so let's create a variable called 2, assign the value of a digit 2 this time. How then would I do calculation? How would I take that variable 2, add another 2 onto it, and then assign that to a variable, let's say, result. So I want to do the sum that says result is equal to 2 plus the digit 2. How can I do that? So that's a bit more complex variable expansion. And there's lots of brackets and spaces and dollar signs that we might need to have a look at. I'm not going to ask you again.
Just one
So, in keeping with the software carpentry tradition, at every lunchtime and at the end of every day, we'll ask you for a quick bit of feedback, either positive or negative. And please don't be too critical, because Edwin and I are very sensitive people. You don't want to upset us, not before Christmas. That would be a terrible thing to do. Okay, so how do I assign that calculation to the variable results? I'm going to start you off. Results equals. Any thoughts? So I'm seeing one person, 2 people with green stickers up, so I'm assuming they've got an answer. Oh, I see 2 disappearing. So how do I actually get the result of a calculation assigned to results?
That's the point where I skip back.
And that's where you get your calculator.
Yeah, me too. I could do it in C#
I have
with
two- I have 2 plus 2, but not the result.
That's good as well.
Use the calculator.
Use a calculator, yeah.
Oh, it's not wrong.
Right. So how do people good with this, or has it got people stuck? Are we ready? Are we there? I'm going to use a colloquial English word here that looks like it's describing a lot of people's situation, and that word is flummoxed, which means stuck. I don't know what to do. So, how have I got with flummoxed? Flummoxed, you can use that in conversation. There we go. Excellent. That was the intention. Right. As a few people have said, this is probably where I would stop using bash and go and do something more sensible instead. which is a very fair comment. But occasionally we do need to do complex manipulation with variables in the bash shell. So, this is how we do it. And this is the reason I don't like that. And everything matters. Okay? The spaces are important. If you don't put the spaces in exactly, it will not work. The double brackets are also important. So that should create a new variable called results. So I should now be able to do echo results, and I get 4, which is exactly what I want. So that's something that's unique to Bash, that we have to do it in that way. So if I don't put those spaces in, for example, let's take all the spaces out. Because other than the double brackets, that looks perfectly logical, doesn't it? Most people can get it. I can get that. Oops. So there we go, just a bit of fun with Bash. And we can use all the other regular operators. We can use line sign, divide, and multiply, just as before.
One question.
So what that allows us to do is we've run the commands that are inside the dollar brackets, and then we've assigned what we call then a wrapped command, which is the 2 + 2, to another variable.
Martin, there was a question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Could we use Python? Maybe just type one command, use Python, and then set the result to output.
You can do. Yeah, and that would work perfectly well. And I think that some people have commented, you probably wouldn't do this in Bash, because other languages such as Python provide a much neater way of actually doing this. It's just to prove Edwin's point from earlier, that most of the time we use this simply to enter commands on the command line and create some pipes and simple workflows. But the Bash shell does provide a pretty fully fledged, rich programming environment. So we can write programs or scripts completely within the Bash shell, if you choose to do so. It's fine for manipulating files, because obviously you've got some very rich file handling commands. But if I'm honest, anything more complex than this is probably better using Python, or if you're a fan of Perl, Perl's quite an interesting language as well for manipulating files and data. So just one or two more things to show you, and then I think we'll go for lunch. So the only other set of variables that are important are ones called environment variables. Now, environment variables, we use uppercase characters to represent. And one of the most useful, in fact, probably the most essential environment variable on Linux systems is one called path. So, what is a path? What is the path of a Linux system? Who can tell me what the path actually means? Again, we told you this before.
What to search for when you type in something?
Yeah. It's the list of directories that your shell will search through in order to find the command that you have just typed. Okay. So in my case, my path consists of all of these directories separated by a colon. And if a command is not in the path, then we either have to go to that directory directly in order to run it, or we have to add it to the path. I think your bash RC had a few lines that added extra directories to the path and then exported that afterwards. And that's about it really. So this afternoon, what have we got coming up this afternoon? Oh, we're going to do some profiling and debugging after lunch. And then you've got
Testing, unit.
Oh, and then unit testing straight afterwards. So this afternoon really is, I suppose the theme is, depending which way around you look at it, how to fix things when they go wrong, or how to make sure they don't go wrong in the first place. So depending on which way round is the best way to do that, we weren't sure, were we? It's one of those is one that you should know first, whichever one it is, we'll be doing first. So we're going to have a look at profiling and debugging and testing this afternoon. So you've got little orange post-it notes. Okay, so on that orange post-it notes, please write a positive or a critical thought about this one. Or both, it's your choice. And then, on your way out, Martin, can you collect them? You can pass them to Martin, who's at the back, stood by the door, standing guard by the door. So he won't let you escape until you've given him an orange post-it note. And where's lunch set up?
We can go together to lunch, so every one of you should have these small snippets for lunch.
Yeah.
And we can go together, but I think lots of you already know the way to the canteen, right? And those who don't, just wait in front here, we go together.
Oh, we do need a code. It is outside.
Yeah. So we've got 90 seconds to give some feedback, and then we're off for lunch.